Hello, is this thing on? What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? Hopefully, you guys are all doing good. I had a little bit of time this afternoon, so I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about some of this stuff in the news. Also, no Crossfire on tonight, so I figured, hey, why not go ahead and do a little video and see what's up with people and kind of just do one of these. I haven't done them in probably a week or so, so hopefully everybody's out and about and doing good. We are getting close to E3 and things like that. And I think that that's one of those things where we're all going to be having our own expectations and things like that. So, for me personally, I have super high hopes for Microsoft when it comes to Sony. As you guys know, Sony's not even going to be there. So, we, we really got to kind of pay attention to what Microsoft has since they're the only ones that are technically going to be there. For me personally, I'm expecting big things from Microsoft. On the Sony side, they don't exactly have anything to show, but that doesn't mean they're not going to talk that day. If you look at the things that they traditionally do, they always tend to, rain on Microsoft's parade. So why not announce something the day that Microsoft does it? So, and I actually think that that's going to happen. And I actually think that, Microsoft is going to have a really good show. I'm excited about it. I know a lot of people think I'm down on Microsoft. I'm not. I think they're going to have a good show. I just don't know that they're going to have enough to answer all the questions that a lot of people have about their software and things like that. So my hope is that they continue to add even more companies onto their software and where they can make more software and things like that. Please hit the like button if you guys are just joining. It's one of those rare times that I actually have a few minutes to do a video, so hopefully you guys are all having a good time and stuff like that. I know it's going to be a busy weekend for a lot of people. So anyway, one of the main reasons I wanted to do this video was one of the things is I really enjoyed Days Gone. I know a lot of people were down on it or whatever, but I personally thought that it was a really fun game, and I really enjoyed the game. The second thing is this secret sauce stuff with the PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, excuse me. I find it to be a little bit interesting because it's the same kind of thing that we made fun of, Microsoft for. And I don't know that next generation is going to be anywhere near this generation where you're going to need something like secret sauce to keep up with the other one. It seems like both these consoles are kind of doing, almost the same thing, almost 4K or whatever. So realistically, it's just going to come down to like the type of games and the prices and things like that. And excuse my voice, guys. I am a little bit under the weather, but not terribly under the weather, so it shouldn't be too bad. But I think that, when it comes to what Sony has to offer, it looks like it's coming more and more true that theirs is actually going to be, lesser than what the Xbox Next is going to be. And if you guys are already watching, please share it out and like it and stuff like that. Yeah, I hear you, TLR9. I'm not exhausted. I just, for some reason, my throat or whatever is sore. Like I woke up like this. I probably slept with a fan on or something like that. But, the show must go on. Like I said, there's not going to be any Crossfire podcast tonight. So unfortunately, that does suck if you guys were looking forward to that. So the next podcast that comes from us is going to be Sunday morning with M&C. But like I said, no podcast with Mooch. We didn't do M&C yesterday, and we didn't do Crossfire today. So, hey, I figured why not take a little bit. I'm not going to do like a huge show right now, but I'm going to do, maybe cover some of the topics that I wanted to talk about, where for maybe an hour or so, because, hey, I like doing that. It's kind of fun. And like I said, I miss podcasting when I don't get a chance to do it. So hopefully I can continue to, just have some cool stuff to talk about. And there is actually some cool stuff to talk about. So with that being said, AMD CEO talking about their new products launching and 2019 being a growth year, talking about the PlayStation 5 as well. You guys know that show Mad Money with that guy Jim Cramer. He's like slaps the table and stuff. And he acts a little bit crazy or whatever. So according to the CEO of AMD, she says that they view it as a significant product cycle. And we go 3 to 5 years forward. We have a lot of things in the hopper. She did that in an interview with Jim Cramer. We're working on many products. Obviously, AMD is building a computer chip for next generation, for Sony, of course, the PlayStation 5. It's going to be released in 2020, not 2019. They've already kind of confirmed that. The system's going to carry higher quality graphics, visual effects on top of faster and expanded memory. Gaming is a long-term and good secular growth market for AMD, she said. What we have done with Sony is really architect something for their application, for their special sauce. She said it's a great honor for us. We're really excited about what the next generation PlayStation will do. So that's really cool. I think we're all kind of excited to see not just what PlayStation, but Microsoft as well. You know, what they're all going to do. I think it really comes down to, you know, you know what we're going to get, what we're going to see, and just are we going to be able to have something that's tangible as a next generation device? Because I feel like as we keep going along, it's going to get harder and harder to really tell the difference between this generation and the next generation and the next one. It's like we're already seeing 4K stuff, and some people can't tell the difference between that. You know, there's people out there that'll tell you they can't tell the difference between a 1080p version of a game on something else and a 4K version of it on the Xbox One X. So realistically, I think we're going to see less and less and less from that type of situation where we get that visual difference that we're so used to. And I don't even know if we're used to that visual difference anymore, because if you think about it, we haven't had that visual difference in quite a while. We've mostly just had, you know, yeah, hey, yeah, I don't really feel too bad. It's just I don't know what the sauce tastes like, guys. But if you are just joining me, please like it and share it out. I would appreciate that. You know, like I said, I think it's going to really come down to just what these consoles companies have to offer in terms of games and services, because I think they're going to be relatively similar in a lot of other ways. So realistically, it's just going to come down to your professional preference. You know, what do you like? Where are your friends at and stuff like that. So this is why I think that this was a bad generation for Microsoft to realistically have a you know, a to realistically have such a an interesting situation going forward where they suck so bad this generation. And I don't think that it's really bad of me to say, hey, they sucked. You know, Microsoft hasn't really done great this generation. So I just I think that that's, you know, one of those things where it's just honest to kind of say that, and hopefully you know, Microsoft can rectify next generation. But like I said, I do think that it is a bit of a bummer for them to have such a bad generation right now, specifically with next gen right around the corner and things like that. So for me personally, you know, I'm excited about what's going to be happening. I don't think, you know, it's going to be like some super amazing difference in what we see, but hopefully it's a big enough difference to make a difference to those that are really interested in it. So I know for me personally, I just want more 4K gaming. Hopefully we get the 60 frames per second options and stuff like that. Like I said, when we used to talk about the secret sauce with the Xbox One, I forget even what the heck that even was for some of this stuff. I think it was like DirectX 12 and the memory. You know, it's been so long since I've actually talked about this stuff. You know, the memory and, you know, checkerboarding and this, you know, like there used to be like just crazy amounts of weird stuff, you know, that we would talk about, you know. And I'm not saying that it wasn't real, because Microsoft and the Xbox One needed it so bad, you know what I mean? You know, and I just feel like it was hard for it to keep up. But when you look at this generation, how it started, the 720p versus 1080p stuff, you realize why there was such a talk and demand for, like, oh, well, you need a secret sauce to compete, because 720p to 1080p seemed like such a huge gap. And maybe to some people it was. I think like the whole 720p thing got overblown quite a bit, and what we see now is kind of a major difference, where we're going to see two consoles that are going to put out games that are going to be probably 4K or very, very close to 4K. And so it's not going to be as much of a difference or noticeable, because all the things that are going to be going into the games in terms of, you know, the specifics of, the lighting and textures and stuff like that. Like for me, I'm a big person that really wants bigger, larger worlds and AI and all that kind of good stuff. And hopefully we can continue to get that from Microsoft and Sony. Just in general, I want to see these companies be able to do that. Hey, what's up, everybody in the chat? I see Pumpkin Queen. She says she'd rather have 120 frames per second than 4K. I don't know. It's like 120 frames per second, really something that a lot of people are interested in. Like for me, I haven't even really thought about that. But 120 frames per second, I don't know what that would be like. I'm just not sure if that's something that I would really care about. Like, does it matter after 60? I don't know. Like, I'm not a PC gamer, so I'm not really like caught up to date on all that kind of stuff and things like that. But I just think that I would like to see a little bit of difference, and I would like to see things not be held back by current generation. And what I mean by that is we're getting, like I know like a lot of people will tell you, well, we're not really being held back, but I still feel like if you got to ship something on the Xbox One original, like the Fat Edition and the Xbox One X, I feel like that Xbox One version is holding back the X version in some way, right? If we look at the exclusives that we've gotten on the Xbox One, I know none of them are like these super incredibly demanding games, but at the same time, even if they were, would we get the best version on the Xbox One X? Like we have not really had just like that amazing game, that amazing type of experience that we're used to, and I feel like that's something that we missed with the Xbox One X. It's sort of a missed opportunity, and hopefully next gen isn't going to be like that. Now I don't know specifically if next gen is going to be forward compatible or if they're going to just support the current stuff for an elongated time, meaning support both, right? Meaning you still would have to buy an Xbox One game to play it on the X or whatever, like Halo Infinite. Let's say that's a launch title for the next Xbox, but you need to buy that version specifically for the next Xbox, or you can buy the, current gen version one with the Xbox One. I'm hoping that it isn't called Xbox One next generation. We need a fresh start with something completely new where it's not holding it back. And I feel like that's where we're going to start seeing the most change in the most amount of production for us anyway, in terms of the differences. Because I don't think that I think that it would be terrible to have to have games work on next gen as well as current stuff still. Like I'm not into that at all. I feel like Microsoft should have successors to things, right? And that's sort of maybe the way that things are going to go. Supposedly Lockhart is the successor to the S, with Anaconda the successor to the X, but they're going to launch them at the same time, which I guess is cool, but also brings to question the whole premise of, is this going to be a very expensive thing? That's the question. Like, are the worlds going to get bigger? That's the thing. Next Doc says, Crapgamer, no, bro, the worlds do not need to get any bigger. Just made detailed textures and graphics. The worlds are getting too damn big. Hey, you could be right, man. But if you guys are just joining me, please hit the like button, share it out. I would appreciate it. I don't get to do, these afternoon type thing, especially Friday. We're not doing anything on Crossfire, so I kind of wanted to do something and just kind of have a little bit of fun with you guys, answer some questions, all that kind of good stuff, talk about some video games. I did get a chance to beat Days Gone finally. I did a review of that. If you guys didn't know, you can go ahead and kind of check that out, because I thought it was a really fun game and probably didn't deserve a lot of the hate that it got. But at the end of the day, they really just did. I felt like they did a good job with doing something different, and they probably won't get enough credit for that. But hey, I thought it was a really well done video, and I feel like had that been anybody else, they probably would have got, if that had been like an Xbox game. I don't know. It's like people bring that up. If Days Gone was an Xbox game, that might be considered one of the best Xbox games of the generation. But the fact that it's a PlayStation exclusive means that it has a certain amount of high level expectations going with it, and so people are a little bit more critical of it, because they are definitely comparing it to stuff like Days Gone or Last of Us and things like that. So I feel like that's something that that they're gonna have to deal with a little bit, because Sony has so many great developers, and that's just fact. And I think that, it's one of those things where, um, it's just one of those things where we've got to sort of really put up with these kind of things. Like nobody's perfect, and we see the media sort of apologize a little bit, I believe it or not, for the lower scores with Days Gone. They're like, oh, was it wrong for the media? Are they being a little too harsh on the game? Well, here's the thing. No game's perfect. Maybe that game would have done a little bit better because they've updated it literally every day since release. Maybe that game would have behooved a month or 2 month delay or 6 month delay or something like that. I don't know. But at the same time, it's not a bad game. I think it's a really good game. It's fun. It's different. It's different enough from the other games that Sony has to stand on its own. I do feel like that it's too similar, though, to, say, The Last of Us. So people are definitely going to sort of compare it to that, unfortunately. And, that's something that they're going to have to deal with. It's like, Microsoft, Gears of War somehow gets compared to Uncharted. Is that really fair? I don't really know. But, I just feel like it's one of those things where it's competition, and third person game. So obviously you compare Gears and Uncharted, even though it makes no sense to me, right? It's like when you want to compare exclusives for Sony, and people are like, "Oh, well, compare their Days Gone versus Forza Horizon 4." Well, that makes no sense whatsoever. One's a racing game. You know, I one's not. So I just feel like those are weird things to kind of compare, and a lot of people just want to bring comparison to things like that. And it really does kind of make this whole console war thing kind of redundant. One of the things that I've kind of come to realize as I've gotten a little bit older, and it's just one of those things where, I think I've probably evolved and grown a little bit older with things like that. I wanted to talk about this, and hopefully you guys did too. Oh, okay. Darkland says, I want to see you play Friday the 13th on PS4. What are the odds of that? Hey, I think I might have PS4 version of that, but I can't stream though, unfortunately. That'd be something where like Mooch would have to stream it and we'd have to sort of go out there and do that together or whatever. So yeah, I remember that, the checkerboarding with the 4K. Next Doc says, yeah, Ben Studios returned to AAA scale. Home console is excellent. 70s is too low. Yeah, I feel like it probably could have been an 80 and it would have been fine. They've updated it a lot and things like that. It's always one of those things that's going to be harder for that company to do things because they're like the little brother compared to the bigger brothers of the other companies that they have. And, and I feel like that's a bit of a bummer, but at the same time, I do feel like they will probably get a chance to do a sequel. And I feel like that's something that most companies don't get in that same instance, because as Sony and Microsoft are completely different in the way that they treat their IP. Microsoft doesn't really cultivate the IP, whereas Sony does. Sony gives their IP a lot of chances, sequels and stuff like that. So hopefully we do see something like that come about. And we do see, Sony come out with a sequel down the line, now that world is kind of there and they have a pretty decent story. And it seems like there's other stories you could tell within that setting as well. So hopefully we do see that one day. And you know what, I would like to say, for my part, I feel like it was intuitive enough to actually really, really, really have a game that kind of surprised me. And I'm kind of hard to surprise anymore, but I thought they did a really good job. It was very surprising how they sort of came out of kind of there, and they did. I know they didn't want to be compared to The Last of Us, but inevitably that it's going to be compared to The Last of Us because they're both zombies, even though one's freakers or whatever. But I do feel like they did a good job of kind of differentiating itself. It wasn't just a Last of Us clone or anything like that, and I think that's very important. For Microsoft's part, I wish they would come out with something a little bit like that. Yeah, I agree. The new Star Wars game does look good. When am I going to have PS4? I don't know many PS4 gamers. That's the problem, man. I'm open to having some PS4 or a PS4 person or two. I have to my credit, expanded a little bit. I got Knox on the podcast now. He's an Xbox guy, but he's an Xbox guy kind of fed up with the whole, Xbox thing, where Microsoft hasn't had something. I actually think that Microsoft is going to do some good stuff this E3. I just feel like, you know, what they're going to do is maybe too late, or maybe they're not going to announce quite enough for me personally. But hopefully, you know, we do see them actually come out and announce some cool stuff down the line, because I feel like we as Xbox owners really deserve it. And you know, we haven't got hardly anything this generation to really kind of hang our hat on. You know, where we can be like, oh, hey, well, I'm so happy with this, or this is a game changing moment on Xbox, et cetera, et cetera. You know, like we haven't really gotten that, and that's a little bit unfortunate in my opinion. But at the same time, I'm very confident that the studios that Microsoft has, including studios that they might buy next gen, I feel like those studios are going to put out some really good games. Just we had to put up with some kind of wait, and I'm not really, you know, at this particular stage in my life, I don't want to sit there and wait another 10 years to get a game exclusive out of some of these companies. So yes, I get a little bit frustrated, and I think that emotion kind of bubbles through. And yeah, people got pissed off or whatever. And I mean, that kind of stuff happens. I get it. I've kind of cut back on some of the hate just randomly. You know, I understand people get tired of just the constant hate. This isn't a bash Microsoft thing or anything like that. I think that, you know, both companies obviously are going to have their own certain type of games going forward, and it really just comes down to being able to achieve what you want as a visionary or whatever, you know. And I think Phil has a certain idea. Phil's hands off with these companies, meaning he doesn't really care about, you know, about the exclusive, about what these companies are doing in terms of their exclusives. He wants people to really kind of go out of their way, and you know, if they want to make something, if they have a vision, he wants them to go ahead and make that vision. And I like that, but I also feel like you've got to be on top of some of these developers, and you know, and keep them sort of, you know, have them do stuff that people and that people wouldn't maybe expect. Okay, what I mean by that is In Exile, for example, that studio, they do a certain kind of game, like a isometric RPG for PCs mostly. You know, maybe kind of push them in another direction. You know, like what would be your ultimate game that you want to make as a studio? Is it really an isometric RPG? Or, you know, or is it something else? Like, what's your dream game? Like, I feel like that's what he should be doing, cultivating some of these. I like the fact that he's a little bit hands off, because if you look in the past, Microsoft has really screwed up where they've gone too hands on with these developers, and then, you know, they've kind of screwed them over or whatever. But at the same time, you know, I do feel like, you know, it's one of those things where they could do a better job if they actually just would tell people, um, you know, tell people basically what they would like to make. You know what I mean? What type of games, you know, and I think that that would be very interesting uh, for for them, you know, because you don't want a developer to not have something to aspire to. That's what I mean by that. So those developers, a lot of the ones that Microsoft have, are these developers that realistically relied on, you know, relied on crowdfunding and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying, you know, you have Microsoft that they need more of, and I hope that they do that, because I don't like being down on Xbox. I don't like being like the asshole of Xbox or anything like that. I don't, you know, it's like it gets old. I get it, man. People are like, this happens every E3, and it's like you got to stir things up a little bit, strictly for the fact, in my opinion, that you know, you don't want to you don't want to like seem like you're perfectly happy with everything Xbox is doing. And I feel like that's, um, you know, one of those things that, um, that realistically is one of those things that I don't want to see in the future. So hopefully we get to see that. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Microsoft now has examples of acceptable trash talk for Xbox community guidelines. And I found this to be kind of funny. And oh wait, I cut out. Sorry, you guys. Yeah, if I cut out, my bad. Come back and hit the like button, share it out. I would appreciate it. Maybe you guys can, get some more people in here. I don't do a lot of these on a Friday, especially later in the day. I usually tend to stick to these more earlier in the day, just because that's when I'm mostly available. But I wanted to do one, kind of talk about this stuff, and apologies if I did cut out. I definitely didn't mean to. Hold on. Do I think when Jack Tretton was at Sony, he did a better job at promoting the PS4 does with than Phil? Yeah, I actually do. I think Jack Tretton did a fantastic job with the with that. Rich of Cucumber says, "Hi crap. Do you think PS5 will be as powerful as Anaconda?" I don't think it'll be as powerful, but I do think that it's going to be up there. They're both going to be doing 4K gaming. So I think anything else is really just doesn't really matter. So hopefully hopefully they're I think they're both going to be more powerful. And this is what I would ask you, if you're a fan of gaming right now, and this isn't fanboy talk or anything like that, PlayStation exclusives are looking better than Xbox exclusives, even though Xbox One X is way more powerful than the PS4 Pro. So even if the Xbox Anaconda is more powerful, which it looks like because it's going to be more expensive and the components look like they're going to be better, even if that's the case, right? I just think that you're going to have a situation where the PS4 games, the exclusives, are probably still going to look better. And the reason why they're going to look better is simple. Simply put, Sony is top notch when it comes to doing that kind of stuff, right? So when it comes to putting their games and having these amazing looking games, they do a really great job at that because they take advantage of it. Their games aren't going to 100 different things, and I think that hurts Microsoft long term. I do think that games do look great. I think like Gears 5 looks amazing. I think Halo Infinite is going to be amazing, and the Forza games always look great. But outside of that, we haven't really seen like that amazing looking Xbox game this generation, whereas most PlayStation exclusives, especially the first party stuff, have been incredibly fantastic. So, I can't wait to see what they both do. It's gonna be one of those things where I think we're gonna be blown away. So yeah, hopefully we get to see that. And I don't mind answering some more questions. When Gears 5 comes out, you will see what Microsoft first party can do with the X. Here's what I'm going to say, Big Daddy Tomcat. I agree. I think Gears is going to blow people away. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. It's going to be one of those games that sort of epitomizes what we get in a console. And I'm super excited to see what we get from that. Like, no lie, I'm very excited to see what we get from that game. It looks amazing. Gears 4 looks amazing. You know what I mean? And I think that and I think we're going to continue to see great stuff from them. And I think that we're going to see Halo. It's going to look great. I want to see Ninja Theory. I want to see some of these other studios, what they can do with the X and I want to see the new Fable and how that looks. You know what I mean? Like, those are the things that I'm very interested in. And I do think that we're going to see some of that, and hopefully we get to see some of that this E3, for the simple fact that it's been over a year, and so we're starting to get that bit of time. So check this out. So you're like, oh well, it's only been a year, we won't probably see much. Well, if we do see Rare's next game, which is supposedly a multiplayer MMO type thing or multiplayer thing, sort of like Sea of Thieves, but something else, their game just released a year ago. So technically they have something new to show already. So I think that some of these other studios should have something new to show as well. And I think that would be best case scenario, hopefully. And there's rumors, obviously, that Microsoft is in the middle of purchasing a few new studios, which I'm very excited about. People say Crytek or whatever. I don't know if those are real or not. But I do think that it's, that they're going to buy some studios. So the monkey says, do you think Gears 5 could be this year's game of the year? You know what? I don't think that the sequel type games go up for Game of the Year very often, to be honest with you. I don't think it's a Microsoft or Sony thing. I just think that unless it's something like the earlier games, possibly, I think like Halo 3 probably won some Game of the Year awards. Gears of War, the first one did, maybe the third one did. But I think once you get into like the 4, 5, 6 category, it's going to be harder and harder for those games to kind of continue to win that narrative and to continue to push the envelope and do that. So I don't really know, and I haven't played it. So it's one of those things. And hopefully it's a great game. I want to see a couple of great games from Microsoft before next gen. I know that they might have stuff playable and everything, but I just really do hope that they have great games for everybody, and that it's something that we can all kind of be proud of and hang our hats on or whatever. So just sort of my 2 cents with that. And I really do feel like Microsoft has the money and the backing to do that and to pull it off. So that's what I'm excited to see in the future. So if you guys are just joining me, please like, share, and subscribe. Purchase Capcom. I wish it. Next doc says, I hope you're right about Fable. You're killing me always bringing it up. Dude, I love Fable. There's no lie there. I know people are like, you're a pony crap. I'm not a pony. I'm not like, they call me a flip-flopper. This is flip-flopping, guys, because now I'm at a point where I can be excited about both for a change instead of just one. I don't really consider that flip-flopping. Yes, I'm a little bit harder on Microsoft because it feels like a lost generation to me, but I don't feel like I flip-flopped. I feel because I still play Xbox and I still want them to do good, right? I just feel like they need somebody on their ass a bit to wake them up, And I was this hardcore Xbox guy where people looked at me that way, and I just want them to, do better. And I don't look at that as being flip-flop. I just look at that as me trying to be, to be a little bit rough on them. And I'm sorry if people look at it that way. If you're just joining me, like I said, like, share, and subscribe. I'd like to get to 100 likes. Make my day, man. I'm sick. I'm doing a show. I'm not going to be doing Crossfire tonight. I really do appreciate you guys coming out and checking it out. Hey, Crapgamer, do you think this channel will ever have a positive outlook again? Just asking. Voyager, I don't know what you mean. Do you mean like positive for Xbox, or do you think like people? You have to understand, right? When I first started doing this, it's not like how it is for a lot of people right now. Okay. People literally tried to destroy me. Okay. And I don't think people have to deal with that as much nowadays, right? So because there weren't so many Xbox people, and I'm not going to name names, but how many YouTubers out there tried to destroy me with false narratives or lies or make stuff up, and I never responded because it was ridiculous. All that does, if they say something about me and it's wrong and I respond, it brings shine to them and brings attention to them, and I don't want to do that. So a lot of times I just sat there and took it. So I'm not saying I was perfect, but a lot of people just hated me for liking Xbox. It was ridiculous. And so, it's one of those things that I've had to deal with. And a lot of people don't have to deal with that. They're able to just do the positive Xbox thing and be perfectly fine. And, I think that's a big difference. And that's a big difference that I've noticed now. Like the hate for Xbox YouTubers isn't nearly what it was back in the day. And so, it's just one of those things that I kind of dealt with. And I've really kind of maybe pushed past a little bit. I don't know. So I like having fun. I like doing these streams, and if it ends tomorrow, it ends tomorrow. I don't know. It was people go, oh, well, you do it for views, you flip flop. No, I mean, when you build a channel of Xbox fans and, you're critical of Xbox, people don't like that. You lose support, and I've lost a lot of support, and I understand that. People get tired of the negativity and stuff like that. I try not to be super negative. I mean, there's times when where I'm just frustrated, and I guess that just happens, to a lot of people. But for me personally, I just try not to be as negative because I want to see what E3 offers, and I want to go into E3 with that excitement like I always do. Hey, E3 is going to be possibly great. Phil Spencer saying it's going to be their biggest E3. And I think that's yeah, and I think that and I think it will be a big E3. So even people like Jez Gordon can get away with saying things about Xbox that I can't. So it's weird. You heard I let one rip, maybe. Yeah, Crossfire isn't going to be on, but hopefully we get, other stuff. As you guys are joining, please like and share out. Primitive Meat says, crap, as we all should do is call out Microsoft, as we all need to stop coddling them. We have lowered our exceptions and are getting less for it called out. Yeah, you know what? I am, but I also like I have to do that, but I want to respect the fans and gamers too. They don't want to hear that all the time. And there is positive stuff going on. So I'm gonna try to keep it a little bit both, you know what I mean? Call them out when I feel it's necessary. Sony too, and you know, and be positive when I can be as well. So do I think Anaconda will have VR support? No. I wish that they would, man. I love VR, but I just get a feeling that Sony has the market on VR and Microsoft won't try it. I would love VR. I got a lot of haters crap on PlayStation, but I will hold my head up and pretend like they're not there. Keep doing what I'm doing. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. You know what's funny? The God, he says, crap, Halo VR would be lit. They're making a Halo VR, but it's not for us for whatever reason. I wish it did. You know what I mean? Next stock, I appreciate that, man. He says, you're not a flip-flopper. You're speaking facts. Xbox One is trash. We bought a $500 X and have no showcase exclusives for everything other than the Xbox console. How can anybody praise it? You know, that was always my point. Like, when you don't announce a new exclusive in 4 years or a new IP in 4 years, that's a bit unsettling, you know, and I feel like that's something that realistically needed to have happened a while ago. Maybe it'll happen this year, and this will all be for nothing, and people will be like, "Oh crap, you really jumped the gun." I don't feel like I've jumped the gun. I just feel like, you know, I did what I had to do to sort of light that fire for Microsoft, and I feel like hopefully they'll continue to, you know, to listen to the fans. I am a fan, so hopefully they understand that. So at the end of the day, it all comes down to what the fans want, right? It's not about me particularly or you. It's like the consensus, I believe. So hopefully Microsoft understands that, and they're able to sort of realize that, hey, you know, the fans are kind of smarter than what we gave them credit for, and you know, they want some games. Like, I don't think Phil understands that, you know, that the fans have a say in stuff like this. You know, like, I understand that he wants to talk about hardware, and that's the funny thing to me. Phil will talk about hardware 3 years in advance, but we'll talk about a game 2 years out. You know, like, that was always something that kind of bugged me. And, you know, I know it bugged some other people as well. But for me personally, it's like, I think the tipping point for me was in my head, right? And just so you guys know, like, I don't share a lot of stuff anyway, but I do, you know, I suffer from like normal afflictions like you guys probably do. A lot of you guys probably suffer from anxiety and depression and stuff like that. I suffered through that in my day-to-day life, and I have since like 2002, something like that, when I was diagnosed with that. So, you know, sometimes I don't enjoy things that I normally would, and sometimes I can be, you know, a little bit more pissy than I normally would, depending on my mood. And so for me, in the back of my mind, I thought of Phil sitting up there trying to sell me 2 new Xboxes while not giving me any new IP to sort of to showcase, right? Like, even more hardware, and I'm counting. I'm like, okay, the Xbox One S, the X, the SAT edition, and then 2 new Xboxes, possibly a streaming box. That's 6 boxes since 2016 being announced, and we've had no new IP in that time being announced, and that kind of bugged me and got to me. And so, yes, I admit, you know, I was like pissed off or whatever, and kind of under my skin about it, you know, and but I don't want people to think that I'm not excited about Xbox or what they're doing, or PlayStation. I'm excited about both. I really want both. They both need to succeed. And I feel like they're both going to have a kind of a traditional thing going on while doing untraditional things as well. And I do like the Sony exclusives. I like the Xbox exclusives too. I just want more exclusives from Xbox. I want exclusives that really showcase what these consoles can do. And I think that that's exactly, you know, what they should do, you know, and I think that hopefully they actually do that. Hopefully they listen, you know, hopefully they listen, and hopefully we get to see something that we haven't seen before. And that's my hope of hopes, is that we get that, and we get more and more of that. And I want to see Microsoft excel where they haven't excelled before, take a risk with a genre they haven't done in a long time. Like, we haven't had an RPG exclusive from them this entire generation, and I feel like that's unfortunate. So hopefully we do get that in the future, and I'm very excited to see what they come out with. Let's see. He's not trying to sell you new systems. You're already in the Xbox One family, new consoles or for new clients. No, I do think that he is trying to sell us new systems, though, right? Because they're going to try and say that we're going to be able to play like the best of the best, and and I feel like that. And you don't have to buy that. I get that, but for him to even be trying to sell us something new, I feel like he's got to bring something new to the table in terms of games. So, Darkland says you forgot to mention Microsoft has more new controllers than games. Well, yeah, they have released a lot of controllers. I think what Microsoft found out was that people like to collect these things, right? And they like to collect consoles last generation. So I know a lot of people don't realize that, right? But consoles, they came out with so many different custom consoles and stuff like that last generation that it was very, very, lucrative for them, very, very lucrative. And, it's one of those things where they were able to achieve so much by selling these different consoles. I admit, I bought so many different consoles that it was crazy. Like I was buying crazy amount of consoles from Microsoft, right? I bought like the Resident Evil one, a Halo one, a Gears one. Like you just wanted to collect these things. And I think people like to collect you know, they really like to collect these type of things. They collect different ones. I personally have like 10 different ones or whatever, So, hopefully, I mean, that's an expense right there, man. I have 2 Elite controllers. Those are $150 a piece. Of course, one of them, the white Elite controller that I have, I basically got for free because I had Microsoft rewards or whatever. And so I was able to really kind of just get that for free through like pre-ordering them games and stuff like that. So, but other ones like the Sea of Thieves controller, I love that. I haven't even played it. I've realistically just kind of used it as a showpiece. I have it in that Sea of Thieves stand, and I think it looks kick-ass, and it's like, glows in the dark and stuff like that. So, I love these controllers, man. I think they've done such a great job cultivating that. I just wish they spent a little bit more time on the games. That's always been my problem. So, crap. Do you think Microsoft want to become third-party publishers only? Well, here's the thing. I don't see that they want to do that because you wouldn't make new hardware and then new hardware if that were the case, right? So I just think that, it's one of those things where I feel like they don't want to do that, but I also feel like they're just to the point where almost like how Steam did the Steam boxes or whatever. Like, when was the last time Valve came out with an exclusive, right? So I think that they like are kind of going that route, but they also need exclusives because it's weird because they've got Game Pass. So I feel like they've got this kind of catch-22 thing going on, and hopefully they're able to actually go out there and do something with that. I don't think they're going to go third party though. Although it is very frustrating, mind you, to see these companies come out and they're going to do that Forza Street game, and they're going to make that come to the Nintendo Switch. I just really feel like that's kind of a bum thing for us Xbox fans. Like, why would you publish a game called Forza? I get that it's a mobile game, but why is that game on PC and mobile and possibly the Switch, but not Xbox? Like, it seems like a given to me, right? Like, why not put it on Xbox, put it in Game Pass, easy 1,000 gamer score or whatever? So I never understood why we weren't able to get stuff like that. And I know like people don't want it. I don't particularly want the game. It's more the principle for me. So that kind of stuff does frustrate me a little bit as we close in on a 100 likes. Crap game, or let's see. Please like it. Let's share it out. Let's see. How many studios did they acquire? Microsoft acquired, I think, 5, but they also have, supposedly they're going to have at least 3 more to announce at E3. Play anywhere except on Xbox. I mean, it is kind of a kick to the teeth, Primitive Meat. It is a little bit of a downer for me personally. So, when you see a lot of this news, what's weird is Sony doesn't traditionally talk a lot about about what's coming out, and so I feel like that the fact that they're having so many leaks and so many just they're coming out with and announcing so much stuff that it's hard to believe that, you know, it's hard to believe that they're actually able to, you know, be able to do that kind of stuff. So I would really like to see, you know, both these companies kind of step it up. But I would like to see, I think, Sony come out with something multiplayer wise. A lot of people ask me that, and Microsoft come out with something single player, just to change things up a bit, because we haven't seen that much. I'd like to see what some of their developers could do with some multiplayer aspects. I hear Days Gone, they wanted a multiplayer aspect in that, but Sony said no. You know, I would just love to see, you know, roles reversed a little bit, not everything, maybe like a game or so for each. You know, that's what I'd like to see in the future. So hopefully we can see that and get that out there. Sony could pull a fast one and release 2 PS5 SKUs like they did with the PS3. They could do that. There's a rumor. There was a rumor about that, but I don't really know. Let's see. Crap, if the rumors about Lockhart are true, don't you think it's kind of a bad to market it as a 1080p 60 console, even if it undercuts Sony on price? And not only that, I don't see how they can do that after touting 4K the entire generation or the last couple years. Like, how can you talk about 1080 60 if you have a 4K machine, right? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. So hopefully they actually continue to go out of their way and you know, and do stuff. So I would like to see them do 4K or not, if not native 4K, if supposedly that's replacing the S. I just don't see how you can do a 1080 60 machine and just have that. Like, that's less than the X in my opinion. So why not just support the X? And like, I don't know, it's very confusing. Microsoft tends to be very confusing in my opinion. So you know, we'll have to see how that plays out. I'm excited to see what Microsoft actually announced at E3, because obviously we need something announced at E3. So Killzone 2 was not superb, but it wasn't garbage. It was better than a lot of the than Killzone 3 or Shadowfall for sure. So hopefully. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see here. What do we got? I'm going to answer some more questions. Got some more questions here. Casual gamers can't tell the difference between 30 and 60. Well, Phil Spencer said that too. So, yeah, he did say that. So, yeah. Please like and share it out if you haven't already. Closing in on 100 likes. I would absolutely love that and think it's great. Lost Odyssey 2, I think, could do well. I think that it's going to be, you know what I mean? Hopefully that's something that they do. Let's see where's that Halo VR game coming if not Xbox? I heard it's going to be like a Windows thing, like a Windows VR thing. Like Phil Spencer said that, you know, that he said basically that it comes down to Windows being a better place for VR than a console. I disagree. I think it works well with PlayStation VR. I would love to see you know, see it work with that as well. So hopefully, you know, that's something, you know, that we can see in the future. So I would absolutely love that, to be honest with you. Like, I know a lot of people don't care about it, but hopefully we do get to see some more of that in the future. I would love to see that, to be honest with you. Okay, let's see what else we got. Crap, what has AMD said more about the Xbox 2? Any new info? No, I haven't heard anything yet about AMD with the Xbox, so we'll have to see. What's my expectations for NAC 3? I don't think they're going to make a NAC 3. Noximus says, I don't think Sony needs to change their formula until it requires changing. They have implemented multiplayer games like The Last of Us and Uncharted. The fans have made it clear what they prefer. Hey, you could be 100% right, man. You could be 100% right. I just think that it'd be cool if one of their studios did something multiplayer wise, surprise some people, you know, because I think they would do good with that. I think Sony needs, let's see, people need to learn what we as fans don't have to settle and lower expectations. Yeah, I mean, some people have lowered expectations for the longest time. Like, what was funny to me was when I was going off last week or maybe the week before, somebody on Twitter was like, and this was an Xbox fan, God bless him, but he said, he was like, we don't even need new IPs. And I couldn't tell if he was serious or not, but apparently he was 100% serious. There's people out there that are just like will totally be apologist for Microsoft, and whatever Microsoft says is fine. And, you know, nothing they say is bad or nothing they do is bad. And no games is great. No new IP since 2014 is great. Or, you know, like to me, that stuff isn't great. It always, you know, comes down to what we want as fans. And if you sit there and say it's okay not to do new IP or new games, then I feel like that's a bad look for all of us. You know, like we should be pressuring them, maybe not as intensely as I had been, but I do feel like, um, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, that could happen. You know what I mean? That we need to see more new IP. We need to see more games. That's the bottom line. So anyway, I wanted to talk about this as well. Microsoft provides examples of acceptable trash talk in new Xbox community guidelines. So if you guys weren't aware, Microsoft actually updated their guidelines, right? So they've outlined what can be considered an acceptable trash talk. Obviously, Xbox Live is realistically, you know, had acceptable and unacceptable stuff a lot. So it's going to be interesting to see how this kind of. So acceptable trash talk is this: get destroyed. Can't believe you thought you were on my level. That was some serious potato aim. Get wrecked. The only reason you went positive was you spent all game camping. Try again, kid. Cheap win. Come at me when you can actually drive without running cars off the road. That sucked. Get good and then come back when your KD's over 1. And then they had ones that were like goes too far, which was like profanity or threat or slur. You know what I mean? Which here's the thing. Like the thing that I worry about is how do you police this, right? So these are new guidelines. Can't somebody just get pissed off and say that you said something that you didn't and get you in trouble? Like that's always my thought when these things happen, when we see new guidelines and stuff like that from Microsoft or any company. Like you worry that there's going to be you know, some of the stuff that actually comes up, and that's my main worry for that. Like how are they going to be able to police that? You're in a game chat or whatever, and you're talking trash, and they get pissed off because you beat them, and they're going to report you for this or that or the other thing. And I feel like that's something that happens as it is. You know what I mean? So hopefully we actually see, because I'm all for like don't hate, like have fun with it, even though some of their examples are hilarious. You know, but at the end of the day, you know, so. I just thought that was funny and kind of wanted to share that with you guys. You know what I mean? Very, very funny. You know, so let's see. People who can't tell the difference haven't experienced 4K. Yeah, I mean, I guess. Let's see. Primitive Meat says, crap, you switch over to Ultimate Game Pass. Beware if you do, extra codes for Game Pass or Live aren't being accepted. I don't use that because I'm not using Game Pass anymore. I have Xbox Live for the foreseeable future. If you guys are just joining me, please like and share it out. I would appreciate it. Just doing one of these little impromptu kind of sessions. I try to do one a week or whatever. You know, sometimes I can't do them, but you know, right now I wanted to do one and just kind of touch base with you guys about a few of these subjects. There's no crossfire tonight with Mooch, so hopefully this satisfies that little bit of taste. You know, a little bit of arguments and stuff, you know, hey, here we are, we're arguing, hey, it's Mooch, it's Crap, it's whoever. So, you know, I do feel like, you know, as an Xbox or somebody has been an Xbox fan this entire generation, a lot of people abandoned me really quickly, you know, which was a little bit odd for me. You know, I want better, and I feel like I was possibly pushing Microsoft to do a little bit better. And at the end of the day, people I think mistook that as me switching, going full pony or whatever. I'm excited about the PS5 and those games there too, but I still love Xbox. I've still been playing Xbox. I still will continue to play Xbox. I can't wait to play Gears of War 5. That's my next big game for me anyway, and I know a lot of you guys like it too. So, hey, you enjoy what you want to enjoy. Yeah, who's not yelling today? If you could have what your dream E3 lineup, what would it be? Unannounced games, dormant games. That's a great one. So my dream E3 would be almost what they're going to do, but a little bit more. Okay, so show off Halo Infinite, Gears, the new Fable. Okay, show off the Ninja Theory IP. Show off 3 other brand new IP. Right? I don't care what, like AAA. Bring back something like Perfect Dark as well. Bring back a Mech Assault. Bring back like a Banjo Kazooie, and I think that you would have like the best E3 of all time. Like absolutely, just like the best E3. What I want to see is Fable for sure, and at least a couple to a few new IP, right? In addition to, like, I know we're going to get Halo and that kind of stuff. That's what I want to see. And I know a lot of other people do as well. So, hey, yeah, Flip Flop Gamer reviews again. Jero Rios. Hey, man, yeah, it is what it is, man. You can't really escape it, man. People are going to think what they want about me. They always have, man. You know, like, here's the thing. I like Xbox. I like PlayStation. I want games, man. That's all there is to it. So, let's see. Applaud you for taking the change and being vocal. People won't be part of the solution. Yeah, you know, look, it's risky. I get it. It happened. I'm hoping that we get great games, and I can be excited about that because I'm going to be podcasting that day a lot. MNC is going to be doing a lot of stuff. Excuse me. So I'm really excited to see what they have to offer. TLR9 says Dream E3 bought Bungie, bought Insomniac, got Call of Duty rights back with exclusive content, 5 new IP announcements. Now that's a hell of an E3, my friend. I would love that, dude. I used to get so into those Call of Duty games, and this one looks like it's going to be great. If the rumors are true, like new Modern Warfare. So I actually hope that that's what we get because I absolutely adore the Modern Warfare series, and it looks like we're going to be getting a reveal trailer for that very, very soon, and I'm really, really hoping that we get that as well. So another thing is Rage 2 has gone gold. It's going to be 60 frames on the X and the Pro, but I think it's only going to be 1080p. I think people are going to be fine with that, though. I don't think too many people are going to be upset with that or pissed off. Like, you know, 60 frames per second on a game is going to be fine. My only complaint is, you know, a lot of times 1080p stuff looks a little washed out on a 4K screen. So hopefully we continue to, you know, get options down the road. But I understand why they wanted to do it. It just really kind of, I guess, comes down to, excuse me, what they kind of wanted to be able to achieve with that. So, you know, the developer's choice, and I can respect that, man. I respect the hell out of that. The developers should be able to do these things the way they want, and I feel like that's something that you know, really just comes down to what their choices, what they want to do. So hopefully we do continue to see that. No, I gotta say, I do really like a lot of the stuff that we're seeing about this Google Stadia stuff too. Like, I know that's something that we probably were going to talk about tonight if we would have done a Crossfire, but that's something that I'm not interested in. I feel like this whole streaming stuff basically is a way to kind of get your foot in the door with that stuff, and then they want that to take over because we literally control nothing at that point, right? Like, everything is done on their whim, on their will, whatever they want. And I don't like that, you know, like, you have to be connected, you have to do this. It's like, you know, there's a lag factor. And so I like the fact that there's other companies now saying, hey, Stadia is not great. You know, streaming isn't really the future. Consoles are still a better option. And this is actually something that happened recently. 3D Realms VP actually came out and said we're at least 20 years away from being at a stage where Stadia will be properly viable and a widespread gaming solution, at least 20 years. And I agree with that statement. And again, when I'm in my 50s or whatever, I don't really care how our games are delivered. Maybe my internet will be good enough to do it, and I won't care at that particular point. I'll be an old ass fart. But for me personally, I do like that they're going to be that these companies are out there saying that. Yeah, Primitive Meat says crap. Sad people confuse standing up as hate instead of passion. I agree. Darkland says, love your channel. Keep up the good work. You rock. Thank you very much. Don't you think Xbox One S and Vanilla will hold back next gen Xbox if they do forward compatibility? I do think that, which is why I'm hoping that they actually replace them, but support the current stuff for a few more years as well with their own versions of these games that are scaled down or whatever. So you know, hopefully that they can find a good median somewhere. And I think that's what fans actually want. So, So yeah, hopefully we can see that. Ace Man the God says, "Here's some love crap. Have a good one and keep on podcasting. F the haters for not wanting and demanding better quality games." Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. You know what? I'm gonna continue to do my thing until there's nobody that wants to listen, and then I've actually been able to achieve much more in the years that I've been doing this than I actually thought possible. Like when I first started doing this, like these type of videos and podcasting and stuff, you have to remember, and I get a little bit of credit now. And first of all, I want to say this. I'll always be grateful to Next Gen 720 for giving me a spot. When he got a hold of me and stuff like that, unfortunately, as some kind of relationships happen like all the time, things deteriorate a little bit, but I had never had anything bad to say about the guy. Um, you know, and then I kind of developed my own type of thing. And then I noticed, and I'm sure maybe he feels this way about me or whatever, even though I feel like our content is definitely different and always has been. I was always kind of the one to talk over a video game, and he was like always on camera, and I was always just like with these kind of sarcastic things to say. And, and I started doing that. And now I've noticed like everybody sort of does what I was doing, 4 or 5 years ago. And, I think it's great because like that's flattering to me, but I also think that it's one of those things where there's so much that people are kind of almost taking almost directly that I noticed that I did in videos like 3 or 4 years ago and using them and updating them to fit into a narrative now, which I find to be kind of funny. But yeah, I'm going to continue doing me and doing the only thing that T-Bobo says, "Hey, Crap, you're a YouTuber. Can't you ask Microsoft for more sports game?" Dude, I would love to ask Microsoft for more sports games, but Phil has already said no sports games. They're not going to really doing it. So, Sweet Platypus says, "You and Mooch are the gaming Batman and Robin. Keep it up." I'm just going to assume that I'm Batman, and he's Robin. So, Next Doc says, "We must support the company that caters to our gaming values, and right now it's PlayStation. I refuse to support Xbox current direction. Xbox catering to PC with double standards." Hey, you're not wrong, man. I don't think you're wrong for saying that. I think that you're probably right. Please hit the like button as well. Share it out. If you guys are just joining me, I'm going to go for a little bit longer as long as my voice holds up, and I'll be able to keep on doing it. I loved NFL Fever. I still have that for my original Xbox. Any news on consoles being on sale E3 week? I've heard a rumor that there's going to be a price cut, permanent price cut to the X and the S. So we're going to see how that kind of works out. There's always these deals that are going on. So hopefully we continue to see the deals, and we continue to see that there's Van Damage. He says, "How many salty ponies we got?" Hey, man, we're all just gamers here, my friend. We're all just gamers here. We're all just here hitting that like button, all that kind of stuff. And, hopefully people understand that. There's no Crossfire tonight, or are you just missing it? No, there's no Crossfire tonight. Mooch had something come up, so there's no Crossfire. So we're going to be doing MNC on Sunday morning, but there's no Crossfire tonight. See, we would have done MNC on Thursday, and, and hopefully you guys come out to that as well, because Sunday mornings we seem to get a good crowd still. Sports games were way better when there was competition. Dude, competition is the key to everything, right? I keep telling people this. PS Plus came out and started giving away free games. That forced Microsoft to do the same thing. PS4 1080p, Microsoft was forced to come out with a better console to stop that, the disparity there, right? Competition is great. One cuts the price, the other cuts the price. Can you imagine if there wasn't the competition that we have? I mean, it'd be terrible. It would be like Madden, right? We get Madden, and it's one of those things where we get no competition for that. I really think that we need competition, and we need these these companies to really battle each other. Hopefully we do. Never owned an Xbox, but believe that for Sony to be the best, they need the competition. Exactly, 100%. My point is the competition is what really comes in handy, and we need to see that continue to happen. You know what I mean? Like, even if you never own an Xbox, you got to understand that one is critical to the other in terms of when you're going to be able to get something when you're going to be able to get something, you know what I mean? So I feel like we do need to see that, and we do need to see Microsoft do better. We need to see, we need to see obviously Sony do better as well, but in different areas. So hopefully we continue to see them grow and do different things and do things that sort of inspire each other. Like Sony does something that inspires Microsoft. Microsoft does something that inspires Sony. They have this kind of friendly rivalry, but it's still a rivalry nonetheless. And we benefited that as gamers. So hopefully we do get to see that. So, hopefully anyway, hopefully you guys are enjoying the show as well. It's one of those things where there's slower news and stuff like that, but I still felt like this secret sauce stuff. First of all, I found the secret sauce stuff to be a little bit funny because it's one of those things where Microsoft and did that early in the generation. I can remember talking about secret sauce, man, years ago. And I thought it was funny because this is what it reminded me of. And to be clear, I don't think Sony needs a secret sauce at all. I think that both these are going to be fantastic consoles, and I feel like both of these are going to be amazing consoles for each of the fans, and mostly if you were actually able to, if you game this generation and you have a bunch of games, you're going to be able to take your games with your controllers or whatever, and I think that's great. But people are going to stick with the ecosystem that they stayed with this generation. That's why I always say this was a bad generation for Microsoft to fail, because next generation, you're going to keep more of the things than you ever did. So, like me personally, 800 and something Xbox One games, if somebody were to be like that, they would probably go Xbox first. Like, I'm a little bit different situation where I can afford to go a little bit out of my way and do not so much lately, but if I were only going to be able to get one, it would probably be Xbox. For the simple fact that I have all the games and the controllers and stuff like that. I'm going to get both, obviously, but at the beginning of this generation, I could only afford one, and I bought the Xbox One. And the reason why I did was because of the games, and I feel like a lot of people didn't do that. Like for me, Killer Instinct, when I saw that, like Dead Rising 3 looked really good, Rise, Forza Motorsport 5, they showed off Titanfall, Sunset Overdrive. These are games that looked very, very impressive to me. Almost like a trickster thing, though, man, because after that initial games that we saw at that first E3, which, by the way, we saw like Master Chief Collection, Sunset Overdrive, Titanfall, all those original year game in that first year. We also saw Quantum Break. So basically, any of the stuff that was good, we got shown that year. Now, we did get better Forzas as the time went on, but all the decent to good games came out pretty much within that amount of time, that first year or so. So yeah, like, it's hard to believe that it's really been, 6 years in this generation and we've had such kind of a lackluster, generation. But yeah, man, I'm excited to see what we have coming out for it. Titanfall 3 and an Xbox exclusive, that's y'all's banger this gen. I would love that. I love Titanfall 1. Titanfall 2 had a great single player, but the multiplayer wasn't fantastic. And it took a step back in my opinion. So hopefully we continue to see these things grow and to do a good job, because I feel like it's just one of those things where us as fans deserve great games, and I feel like even though that's a multiplat, it's still a great game, and hopefully it can go back to being great again. Answer some more questions in here as well. They fixed it for Titanfall 3. Well, Titanfall 3 is not happening. Primitive Meat says, let's get on Sony to make a damn gamepad for a full-fledged size adult hand. Dude, I feel you. That's why I ordered that damn thing, so that I can play the games using my Xbox controller. So yeah, hopefully we can do that. Gotta creep Matty Beast, man. Gotta creep. I watched that the other day, man, and I was thinking about you. I was like, wonder what Matty Beast is doing, man. He's like free hot dogs. No drinks though. Can't do it. Can't do it. Yeah, I love that movie, man. They really released Titanfall 2 into a piss poor release time. If you guys are just joining me, please like it and share it out and all that kind of stuff. Jero Rio says, I would rather die on my feet than fall on knees and get a PlayStation system. Dude, I hear you. If you only want to play Xbox, that's fine. I'm not. I think Xbox is fine. I think PlayStation is fine. If you're a Nintendo person or a PC person, it's all fine. Overall, I would always suggest that towards the end of a generation, when they're all affordable, try to get as many as you can so that you can not miss out on stuff. That's my thing, because they've all had good experiences. Like, even though I kind of rag on some of the Xbox experiences, like Sunset Overdrive, Halo Master Chief Collection, Halo 5, Gears 4, Gears 5, Forza Horizons, Forza Motorsports, Ori, Cuphead. Like, these games are, even though you can play some of them on PC or whatever, if you're a console gamer, they're worthwhile experiences on a console, even if it's an S or whatever. So keep that in mind as you kind of go along. There's always stuff to sort of play or whatever. So I actually did like The Last of Us. I went back and played it recently. Really good game. I can see why so many people like it. I thought it was a little bit repetitive at parts. The first time I played through it, apparently I didn't level up my stuff correctly. So that's why I had a lot of the clunky experience. I was sure to level it up correctly with the second playthrough. And it was generally much more enjoyable, especially the beginning. I thought was really kind of hooked you, and the ending was very powerful. So yeah, I definitely am excited to play the second one, and that was a game that wasn't even on my radar before. So yeah, there is that. Yeah, you win no matter what. There's nothing exclusive to me. I always say that, man. I always say that. Let's see. Next doc says, I hear what you mean. 300,000 gamer score. It's killing me in the direction Phil's steering Xbox, but I'm feeling like I have to support PlayStation because they are in line with my gaming values. Dude, I hear that too, because that's the same type of thing that I'm feeling as well. So I really feel like that's something that, you know, that I've had to, that's why I've kind of spoken out a little bit. You know, it's not that I hate Xbox. It's that I feel like they really need to, kind of branch out and give people what they want. Let's see. What else? So I saw a good one. How come games like Civilization, which has been on PC for all its existence, can have the latest game on the Switch, but if Age of Empires can't? It would work if they would change the UI and make it for Xbox. Aceman the God. This is my complaint, right? I actually like RTS games. I liked Halo Wars. The problem is you have to, I think, completely do the different UI to support a controller. Because I don't think you can do those games and just say, oh, you need a keyboard and a mouse and play it on a console. That's not fair, right? Like, well, think about it. What if they put Halo on the PC and go, well, you got to use a key. You can't use a keyboard and mouse, right? It doesn't work that way. You got to adjust. You got to give them the option to use what they use. You got to give us the option to use what we use. Like Gears Tactics. Why that's not on Xbox, I have no idea. Minecraft Dungeons. Why that's not on Xbox, I have no idea. You know, why Civilization 4 isn't going to be on Xbox, I have no idea. Xbox is PC, PC is Xbox, right? So that's the point that I always talk about. I'm like, well, you know what? It's one of those things where, you know, it's hard to say. You know, I don't know. It doesn't seem fair to me, but you know, to some people, maybe it does. I don't really know. You know, so hopefully we see something come from it. I would love to see something come from that. You know what I mean? Like, I would love to see. I would play Gears Tactics or Age of Empires on Xbox, but I'm not going to play on a keyboard and mouse. So you know, hopefully they can go out there and kind of switch it up a little bit and things like that. So let me see what else I got. Oh, come on, Rios. He says, stop crying. There are reasons for it. Just believe in Phil Spencer. I can't tell if you're being serious or not, dude. I like Phil Spencer, but obviously he's not this. I don't know. I don't know if he's like the guy that so many people thought he was. You know, I just feel like when it comes down to it, us Xbox fans, realistically, you know, I feel like we've gotten a lot of cool stuff, but I also feel like he ignores a lot of the stuff. The Kumbaya stuff, I agree, is really bad. Gears Tactics, it's XCOM double standards from Phil, PC exclusive, mobile exclusive. Exactly, that's my point. I've been bitching about that completely. Like, you know what I mean? I just want to see some movement. You know what I mean? That's That's what I'm excited for. I want to see some games. I'm tired of hearing about his idea of xCloud and playing on the toilet and all this kind of stuff. I want to see the games on my box, and that's it. I mean, that's what I want to see. I'm tired of seeing all the other stuff and all that kind of stuff. That's what I want to see, and that's what I'm excited to see. So, you know, hopefully we see that. Let's see. What else do we got? Do you have Borderlands the Handsome Collection on PS4, or I only have it on Xbox right now, dude? I am gonna get Borderlands 3 though. It looks absolutely amazing. I'm super excited by it. Looks like they kind of reinvented that whole genre again. So Noximus says he is a businessman at the end of the day, and his business is to make Microsoft as much money as he possibly can. Huckster Phil, yes, that's right. He is a businessman. I get it. I just feel like he's so worried about these 2 billion gamers that are obviously casual gamers that he's kind of lost us in the shuffle. So, you know what I mean? Hopefully we can see, a bit of a change come from that. Once we start seeing the games and stuff like that, I feel like a lot will be forgiven. And I feel like, Phil will kind of finally be what we need him to be, like the guy that's getting us games. Because I always say, Phil got off scot-free when he got promoted to head of Xbox. He was the head of Xbox Game Studios when they did all the original Xbox One ideas, right? So he got off scot-free. He was in there. He never raised his hand and said, this is a stupid idea. You know what I mean? So I always just find it funny that people just praise the guy so much. And he was one of the reasons that we had the Xbox idea in the first place. So it's always a bit unfortunate to me that was even a thing. So could I see Recore 2? Only in my nightmares. What studio do I feel that Xbox is acquiring next? You probably won't like it. But I hear they're high on the Crackdown 3 studio, Sumo Digital. So yeah. Am I like, I don't have World War Z, man. I don't have it. If somebody wants to gift it to me, thank you. Dude, I liked Recore for the first couple hours, and then after they were like, go find the cores, it was one of those things where I wasn't liking it as much. It was very difficult to kind of get into, and I just wasn't enjoying it. It just wasn't fun. I feel like they could have done so much more with that game, and there was a lot of potential there. But at the end of the day, they just really didn't. They just really didn't do what I thought they were going to do with that game. Like, I thought it was going to be something different. And to be fair, I didn't dislike the combat. I liked the story and the characters and the bots and stuff like that. The problem is just the game itself, I didn't feel was particularly well done. The graphics weren't good. It was more like a double A type game. And I think most of us were kind of expecting something a little bit different. And hopefully in the future we get, something really good that we kind of been asking for, like as fans. If they do a sequel, I hope that they do something of a AAA level and invest some money into that. They definitely need to invest the money into it and get things kind of ramped up and doing in good direction. So I would love to see that. Gonna answer a few more questions. I like interacting with you guys, man. You make me feel good, even though I was feeling like crap. Let's see. It did, yeah, the cores, right? The cores was the problem. That was a bit of a problem. Sony games look better than 1X games because they are in development longer. Well, I mean, that could be it. I don't really know. And if you guys are just in here, please hit the like button, share it out. Anaconda may be the last Xbox I buy. It depends on the solo games. I still feel like they're going to do some good stuff. I just, it's going to take time. Adrian Leach says, Crapgamer, what games will Microsoft make next generation? Halo, Gears of War, Forza, Forza Horizon, Fable. I can guarantee it. Other than that, I don't have any idea. I've heard some things, but I think it's a little bit too soon to really to see which way we're going to be going. Yeah, I know. I'm feeling like crap, but I'm crap gamer. It's just one of those things, man. I woke up just not feeling great. Plus, subscriptions were at 36 million in 2018, so I think the guy was thinking about PlayStation Now. PlayStation Now is only at 700,000, which isn't great, but it's not. I don't know. Like I said, streaming video games is not my thing. I don't think it's as good as people thought it was. I've heard Perfect Dark is going to happen. Do you think the Halo TV series can help Team Xbox? Um, I think so. I think so. I think Halo's about to have a resurgence, guys. I know people laugh, but Halo Infinite being available on PC as well, and having a new engine and them going back to the roots, I feel like Halo's about to see a big resurgence. I honestly do. Um, make Xbox great again, right? Fable better be real as much as you thought, dude. I'm telling you, Fable. It's not just me, man. You can look. Eurogamer said it. Like, people know it's real. Playground Games is working on it. I've been calling this for years. When it's right, okay. Listen, you guys can go. Hey, crap was right. Look, I did a video about Forza Street going to the Switch months ago, or month and a half, 2 months ago. And people were like, "Oh, you were wrong about that because it came out on PC and console and mobile." Excuse me. Now it looks like it's going to Switch, just like what I said all along. I said they were getting a Forza game, and it would be that game. And there you go. So you get some stuff right, you get some stuff wrong. That's sort of how this whole thing goes, and people just have to realize, um, you know, it's hit or miss sometimes, and you can't be right all the time because you hear stuff. And I've been hearing about this, and to be fair, I've heard about Splinter Cell for years as well. Like, for years and years I've heard about it, right? Like, Splinter Cell was a thing there, it's going to happen, and we still have no new Splinter Cell yet. So it's one of those things where you hear things and you hear things and you hear things, and things can change last minute. Do I PS4 game share? No, I PS4 game share with Hellhammer, actually, but he never contributes. Next year, man, early next year, in the end of January, I am going to get married. Let's see. Have a nice day. Hey, I appreciate it, man. I will work on my video titles specifically for you, bro. Have you heard anything new about the Splinter Cell? I've heard Splinter Cell is going to be at E3, but I heard that last year too. Hey, crap, if you want a PS4 guy on every once in a while, look me up. I will, man. Or you have anything to like, have you done any kind of podcasting or anything like that? Because I wouldn't mind getting a PlayStation person or two on there as well. I appreciate it. Hey, like the video before you leave and all that kind of stuff. Master Chief Collection is selling fantastic. Is it? Like, I haven't heard anything else on it. Is the Master Chief Collection doing really well on Steam? Are people buying it a lot? Hopefully they do. I mean, I don't care. As long as I don't have to play against people on a PC, I'm okay with it. Hey, it's Triple Cup Chuck, and he's up. Hey, what's up, bro? Borderlands and Xbox having a big announcement together. Maybe that's some kind of deal with their working together or something. I think that would be pretty cool. I would actually love to see that. I think that that's something that would be awesome. So, I think that that would be great. Let's see. Let's see. Answer some some more questions. Since there's no crossfire. Hey, if you guys are just joining me, there is not going to be any crossfire today. Sorry. Let's see. Como estás, bitches? Hey, Crap Gamer here. Hey, I would love to see Rise too, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't want to give you guys false hope on that. Are you and Mooch Co doing a live react? Yes, we're doing pre E3 probably during E3 and then post E3 as well. So, you know, keep us in mind. I know a lot of other people are going to be doing that as well. You know, we definitely need, you know, the fan support and stuff like that. Hopefully we see you guys there. There's going to be, you know, everybody and their mother does E3 reaction. So hopefully you guys can spend some time with us and maybe hear Mooch yelling a little bit, you know, doing some kind of Mooch thing where he's talking about, hey, look at this. It's comparing it to food or whatever. You know, that's what Mooch does. But I'm thinking it's going to be a fantastic E3. Not only do I think it's going to be a good E3 for Microsoft, I think Sony's going to announce stuff that same day. And they're going to try to outdo Microsoft with some announcements that day. I don't think they will, but possibly. But they're going to announce possibly that, you know, PS4 is super slim and release dates for some of their games, maybe even The Last of Us 2, maybe announce some PS5 stuff. I don't know. But, you know, hopefully, you know, hopefully it's one of those funny things. So, let's see. No, we're not going to be at E3, man. Nope, no new Alan Wake. No new Alan Wake. You heard the news about Epic and Synox? Yes. You know what? I love the way Epic Game Store is doing stuff. You know what I mean? I love the absolute way that they're doing stuff. I think that it's business, man. They do this business stuff. It's balls to the wall business. Fantastic stuff that they've been able to accomplish and pull out. And you know, I gotta say, really good on them. I think it's fantastic to see what they've been able to accomplish by getting these exclusives and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, man, it just really comes down to getting people to use your stuff. And I think Epic gets that. And that's something that Microsoft has yet to get. They feel like if they put their stuff available on phones and everything else, that people are just going to come flocking to them. And I don't really feel like that's the case. You know, you got to give people a reason to get your stuff. And, you know, hopefully they'll do that in the future. You know, that's what I want to see. So hopefully we continue to see that. And, you know, I would love to see Microsoft be able to be able to pull that off. So if you guys are just joining me, please like it and share it out, man. I would love to get, you know, 140 likes on this before I have to end the show. You know, I'm going to have to go out here soon, but I have really appreciated you guys out here. Let's see. Have you seen Xbox Unlimited Edition Godzilla console? Yeah, I think that looks badass. You know what? I miss Xbox when they used to actually do these great consoles, these custom consoles and stuff. You know what I mean? And I would love to see that actually come about. So I would love to see it. So needs to give Uncle Phil a wedgie while saying, listen to us, dude. You know what? It's funny because I don't think Phil's a bad guy. I think Phil's a good guy. I just think that Phil is a businessman, and Phil just really does what he thinks is best to get the brand in more people's houses. But at the same time, I don't think that that's always what's best for the actual console itself. So hopefully we continue to see maybe Phil change some things and things like that. You know, I would love to see more games. Demon says WWE and Microsoft are the same. Both really don't care what their fans want, but expect us to enjoy the BS they put out when no one asked for it. Last E3 to impress me. Your thoughts, Crab? It depends. I've liked parts of the last few E3s, but the last E3 that Microsoft had game-wise didn't impress me. I think I would say 2013, because that was the year that they, you know, even though they got out so much hate that year, they announced Killer Instinct, Forza, Dead Rising 3, Rise, Sunset Overdrive, Halo, you know, Titanfall, so many great games. Jay Slayer says, crap, why doesn't Microsoft want people to buy their consoles? That's more people paying for Xbox Live Gold. Dude, I don't know. I wish I knew. I don't understand it. Maybe somebody can explain it to me. Is Matt Booty responsible for exclusive content? He's in charge of all Xbox game studios. Yeah, please, Affy. He's right, man. Hit that like button. I would appreciate it, man. Just out of the blue. Just to remind you guys, we're not doing Crossfire tonight, so that's why I decided to come out and do this video. Just kind of touch base with you guys and get you guys out here and and sort of do a little video and just have a little fun, talking about some stuff, talking about some video games, and this stuff, just what we do, man. We talk about video games. It's one of those things that we like to talk about as gamers. So hopefully, what did you guys think? I know this is probably going to be contentious, but as growing up, you guys, I was a huge Sonic the Hedgehog fan. Obviously, Sonic 2 was probably one. It still is probably one of my favorite games. What do you guys think about this movie, Sonic the Hedgehog? Right, like I gotta admit, I saw this Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and holy crap, the it's just ridiculous how fake that thing looks. Like, here's the thing for me: you do CGI for Sonic the Hedgehog, right? Um, and I and why make it look like it's someone in a costume then? You know, why make it look like something, you know, of a costume? It's bad. Like, and it does. Why do they continue to do game-based movies when they all just turn out so bad? Yeah, I heard they're gonna redo the actual Sonic look. He just looks off to me. He doesn't look right. His legs look weird or something. I don't know. His fur looks weird. But yeah, just oh my gosh, it looks so fake and so bad. As a Sonic fan, you just almost feel bad for it. It's just oh my gosh, I saw that they're gonna change it, but how much can they change it? Like that, it should be almost already done, right? Like wow, yeah, just it looks so bad. It's unfortunate that that it does look so bad, and I just hope that they can actually go out there and do something decent with it in the future, because that is really, really um, something uh, of a misnomer there. So hopefully they go out there and fix that up a little bit, because unlike like Mario, right, where Mario has gotten good games and good games, Sonic games have been kind of bad. There's been some good ones mixed in there, but for the most part, it's like Sonic games are very bad, and and so we see a bad movie too. That's why Nintendo doesn't make movies anymore, is because it was kind of ruining the people's perception of the Nintendo product, and so they stopped doing it. That's the same thing with Sega. So now you got this terrible looking thing, and Jim Carrey. I'm not saying that he's a bad Robotnik or whatever, but he doesn't even know what the source material is, and I don't look at that as a good thing. Like you got to know what you're doing to be able to do it. So just my opinion anyway. Let's see. What do we got here? A couple more. We must demand better in order to receive better. I agree wholeheartedly right there. As you guys all hit that like button, I really appreciate it. Sir X-Man says, crap, you ready for the new Star Wars? Rest in peace, Peter Mayhew, by the way. That guy who played Chewbacca. Really sad to hear that yesterday. Look, I wish I could be super excited about the new Star Wars. I'll probably go see it, but hopefully they fixed it, to where it's actually they fix a lot of the stuff that happened in the last one, in the Last Jedi. The Last Jedi was terrible. Many of you guys know my disdain for that, and hopefully you guys, I don't know. I'm not going to knock it. If people want to go see it, go see it. I'll probably go see it to go close out that that saga or whatever. They've got a lot of fixing to do for me personally to get back on board with Star Wars. I just feel like these new sequel movies maybe appreciate the prequels all the more. And hopefully they ended on a strong note. I really feel like Disney went in a direction to kill off all the original characters a little bit too soon. I would have liked to see them all get back together at least once for a little bit, and then something could have happened. But yeah, just the way that they've done, especially the last one, just horrible. So hopefully we see some cool stuff in the future. Yeah, I'm excited for the new Star Wars game. I'm going to see what they have to offer. Hopefully it's something amazing. Star Wars: The Old Republic trilogy. I would love to see that. I don't know if EA would be on board with that though, so we'll have to see how that kind of works out. I would love to see it though for sure. They need to go back to the original stories. Yeah, it wasn't just the Han Solo stuff, man. Like the whole thing, like Luke Skywalker lost the will to live. You know, they do this whole Knights of Ren thing, and then they totally forget about it. They bring in Snoke, and then his backstory is non-existent, and then he dies like a chump. Rey's parents being nobodies. That's all just nonsense. You don't get that strong in the Force with your parents being nobodies or whatever, you know. So that's, you know, again, just my own personal you know, my own personal kind of thing. So, will next generation consoles be last generation to have disk drive? I feel like we'll get maybe mid-gen refreshes, and possibly that could be the last one. We'll have to see how that works out, though. I'm not sure. I hope that we continue to get the option. Otherwise, backwards compatibility loses what it's all about. Like, think about it. A lot of us have backwards compatibility through Xbox and Xbox 360 through the physical games still, right? I still have my 360 games. I still have my Xbox games. Without a disk drive, I wouldn't be able to use it. I'd have to buy those games all over again, and I don't want to do that. So, yeah, you know, it's one of those things. It's kind of frustrating. I see that things are changing in the world. I just, to be honest with you, though, I just really, really hope that they continue to keep the disk drive in there. For one thing, I use that for 4K Blu-rays. I have a 4K TV, but I don't have good enough internet to actually do, you know, 4K stuff. So hopefully we get to see, you know, we continue to see some of that stuff kind of take off or whatever. But you know, I'm realistic about it. I don't know that we're gonna see so much a disk drive after next generation. So it could very well be the last generation, although the mid-gen refresh probably will have it. So hopefully. I collect games on disc. Yeah, video games, movies are terrible. I agree with you. She got to be a Skywalker love child. Do I think Satya Nadella is to blame for Xbox failures? No, yeah, I'm gonna go see the new Godzilla. I like the last one a lot, so hopefully this one's good as well. Hey guys, hit the like button. Maybe we can get up to 150. That would be fantastic. I would really appreciate that. That would be pretty kick ass. And it would mean a lot to me if you guys could get me there. Get me there, guys. Let's do it. Let's get to that amazing level that I would love to be at. You know, listen, gaming is one of those things where we all have strong opinions about it, but at the end of the day, I think it's also something that brings us together, which is really cool. Again, there's not going to be a Crossfire podcast tonight. Mooch isn't going to be around, so instead, we're going to be doing, you know, we're going to be doing one of these. This is it, you know, and we're going to be doing M&C on Sunday. So hopefully, we'll see you guys back there as well. Let's see. All my games are digital. Yeah, I hear you, but still the option there would be awesome, I think, right? Like the option to do that. I feel like the option to do physical 4K Blu-rays and stuff would be great as well. And I feel like I don't want to lose that option. So just me anyway. Primitive Meat says, we are the old guard and not liking the way things are looking. Never remove the drives. I agree, especially since it doesn't seem to save you any money. The SAT edition doesn't look like it's really saving any money for anybody. And that's, you know, one of those unfortunate things. So hopefully we continue to see some things kind of pan out in the future for disk drives and things like that. Because I'll always prefer a disk drive. Even if I don't use it, I'll always prefer to have that as an option. So that's what I want to see coming from Microsoft in the future. So hopefully we continue to see that. And, you know, just one of those things that I'm kind of looking forward to, and hopefully you guys are too, just seeing what we're going to get at E3. I do believe 100% everything's going to have a disk drive to start off next gen. Then we might start seeing some of the messed, you know, some of the situations with the diskless stuff. So hopefully we see that. You know, I would like to actually see that and, you know, come about. You know, just absolutely. Let's see. I'll answer a couple more questions. You know, they removed some of the Telltale games. Repeat, no disc, no buy. Exactly, Sir X-Man. Crap, you know, they removed some of the Telltale games from the Microsoft Store. I didn't know that, but it could be due to some of the licensing and things like that. Let's see. Answer a couple more. World War Z wasn't bad. I haven't played it, so. Several main developers leaving Bungie for a studio in Santa Monica going to the initiative. It could be. I don't know for sure, though. We'll have to see how that kind of plays out. When is Battletoads coming out? Well, they said it was coming out this year, but I'm highly dubious of that. I don't know if it is going to come out this year. We'll have to see how that kind of works out. So I would actually hope that it comes out this year, but it'll come out when it's ready. They're hand drawing it, so I guess that's going to be a bit of a thing. So we'll see how that kind of works out. Primitive Meat, thank you very much, man. Thank you for stopping by. Make sure you guys all hit that like button as you guys leave out. I do appreciate it. After a year into the Xbox One life cycle, I've not used a disc whatsoever. I own the stream, or I own and stream digital only. It's just so convenient. I hear you. No, I haven't talked to D. I've been busy real lately, so I haven't really kept in contact with a lot of people, to be honest with you. So I understand that, yeah, digital is much more convenient, but I still like the option of having the physical stuff as well. So hopefully we continue to get that going forward. I would love that. Any chance of Nintendo's new Switch being as powerful as the X? No, they're not even going to announce a new Switch at E3. It's supposed to be a slight upgrade, so I don't think that that's going to be a real big thing. I mean, I would love it, but how do you do a version of it only 2 years after? Like, I feel like that wouldn't be a good thing. So hopefully we see, we'll see something. I'm just not sure exactly when we'll see that something from the Switch. So I'm going to answer a couple more questions, and then I got to get the hell out of here. I really do appreciate you guys rocking out with me, though. I'm pretty sure the Battle Royale genre came from Hunger Games. It could be. PS5 secret sauce is guaranteeing itself on top next gen. Hey, that could be as well. The one good thing about digital games doesn't ruin the laser. Yeah, that's true as well. They're always good to kind of do that as well. Yeah, it was a pretty good, nice chat. I appreciate it, you guys, man. Appreciate you. Ace Man to God, appreciate you stopping by, man. Like the video on your way out, man. I really do appreciate it. You guys rock. I think the world of you guys. Share it out if you haven't already as I close things off. I'm excited about E3. I'm excited about the future of Xbox. Hopefully they can come out with some fantastic games in the future. That would get me very excited. And I feel like they're going to announce new studios and stuff like that. So plenty of reason to be excited about Xbox still, and PlayStation. I feel like Sony gets it. I mean, they don't really need a lot of hyping up because they understand it, I think, a little bit more than even Xbox. They get it. They know where we're coming from. And that's pretty much what I got to say about that. I appreciate you guys spending some time with me. Have a great, great day. Rack them up. Have a great weekend, you guys. I'll see you on Sunday on M&C. Have a fantastic one. Rack them up. Peace. Later. Huh. It won't let me end the show. Interesting. Hi. We're here. I'm here. Yeah. This damn thing won't let me end the show. I've never had that happen before. Like, failed to stop the show. I've never, ever had that happen before in my life. That's funny. Seriously. Just said failed